everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends. I'm Cody Leach, and as always, Christian Garcia is here.
What is up?
Exciting times, lots of good nerdy stuff coming out. Getting real excited for Black Widow coming soon.
Next month.
Yep, next
I guess
month.
When this comes out, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
Week and some time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, very exciting stuff. We're in the middle of Loki. I think we just hit the halfway point with last week's episode. Some cool stuff happening in there, and because of that, we are going to be talking a little bit about apocalypses. Apocalypsi? Apocalypses?
Maybe.
Like an ellipses?
I don't know.
Interesting. But before we get that, please like and subscribe. Click the little button down at the bottom on the YouTubes, or if you're on Apple Podcasts, please follow us and give us a 5-star rating if you don't. I think it's been a while since we've actually checked that, but...
And Patreon, give us the money.
Yes, patreon.com/nerdswithfriends to help support the show and get yourself some cool rewards. So we do appreciate all of our current patrons.
Yeah, have Cody paint a mini for you. He's dying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always looking for new minis to paint. I have a freaking problem with painting minis.
It's only a problem if you're harming yourself or someone.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've super glued my fingers together.
They look fine.
Does that count? And then
you're still peeling.
I know I'm peeling so bad for my sunburn. I feel like it's almost over though, but who knows. The mini painting is going really well. I painted 3 Hero Forge minis for my Pathfinder group, so that's pretty fun.
He showed me this cool Ray one that he's going to get that maybe we'll show later.
Yeah, I could post a picture of that one. It's Ray looking like a fucking boss bitch.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I like it. Yeah, I looked at that guy's his other works, because the thing with 3D printing is there's a lot of people out there who have like Patreons or like one-off, like little sculpting sites where you can just buy the files to print out yourself. And there's some really, really talented people out there. There's also people who make like obviously unlicensed copies of like Star Wars in this case.
Sure. You're telling me that one wasn't sanctioned by Disney?
Yeah, Lucasfilm didn't really want that one.
I wonder why. You guys will see.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I'll put it up there. It's basically Rey like sitting in a throne with Kylo Ren's helmet, but she's like fucking like all spread out like that, and then it does come with a not safe for work version where
that's my favorite one.
Titties are hanging out. So I don't know if I'm printing that one. I guess I might as well, but I just thought it was cool pose. But
Can't believe Disney said no to that one.
Yeah, it's so strange. Though it sounds like I was reading an article that Kathleen Kennedy may be on her way out. They may be tapping Jon Favreau to become. This is all conjecture from internet people, so it's not real, but.
How much do you actually think? Because I know a lot of people blame her for like the 3 ones that came out that everyone. Well, I guess I didn't hate them, but a lot of people hated. I do agree.
They weren't as well received as say like the original 3.
I do agree that there was better ways of telling the story. But what do you think? Do you think it was all her?
My take on Kathleen Kennedy is I don't think she's out there like writing the stories. You know what I mean? And like really guiding how these stories should go. I think what she does is J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson or whoever they're out there writing their story, and then she comes in and is like, yeah, but we also need to do this, and just shoehorns in her ideas. And you get too much of that, and then you get an uncohesive mess.
I want to understand, because a lot of people do blame her for it, and I wonder, do you have evidence? Because I'm not one way or the other. I'm not saying that it was her fault. I'm not saying that she had nothing to do with it, because at the end of the day, when you're on top, you're in charge of everything that fails.
Sure.
But I'm wondering if people actually have evidence to suggest that it was her fault. Yeah,
I mean, I think that, obviously, like Rian Johnson left Lucasfilm with a pretty sour taste in his mouth. He was actually supposed to do episode 9 also.
Right.
But he got fired from that, and they brought back JJ. And, I think I don't know. Who knows exactly what it is, but, since she has been in charge of it, the results have been a little lackluster. But when you get someone else in charge who obviously cares for the properties quite a bit, like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, good things happen.
Right.
So
I need to catch up with Bad Batch.
Yeah, me too. I've not watched anything since the first episode. But yeah, I mean, something has to change, I think is what it comes down to with Lucasfilm.
My biggest thing that they messed up was with Finn. Like, it would have been great to have Finn like get a lightsaber, become trained as a Jedi, because I feel like that's what they were kind of hinting in the beginning.
Finn was I mean, the key problem that I saw with Star Wars in general, we're getting off topic already at the top of the show, but the key problem I saw with the latest trilogy of Star Wars is that they didn't have an idea of where it was going necessarily, and so there's all these forgotten. It was like Game of Thrones, all these forgotten storylines.
I agree with you.
Finn didn't get a storyline that was any good at all. It could have been so good with him being an ex-stormtrooper, and we talked about this like on our fixing episode 8 show, where we talked like how cool would it be if being a stormtrooper he was like super brutal and he couldn't, like, he had to learn some restraint and stuff to join the rebellion and be a good guy, right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't do anything. He's just a goofy guy cracking jokes every 10 seconds who like follows Rey around and is in love with her, but like...
I would have loved it if Rey and Kylo Ren were the siblings, like they were. That's how they did in the books, right? And
yeah, I mean, it was completely different characters, but yes, there was Luke's... No, it was Leia and Han's twins that they had.
I would have liked it if, like, Kylo Ren became a Jedi and Rey didn't, and she kind of took on like Harrison Ford, like Han Solo's character, where she was just kind of like a great pilot, and right, like a mercenary, but she didn't get any Jedi powers. I think that would have been great.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, there were so many ways they could have handled it better. Rey's character, while there's definitely bits in there that are great. Like, I think Daisy Ridley did an excellent job in the trilogy. But her character didn't do much. You know what I mean? Like, yes, she's learning to become a Jedi, but she's instantly really good at it. She doesn't go through a lot of struggle. In episode 8, she's tempted by the dark side, but nothing ever happens from that.
Yeah.
Well, we see the Force lightning, I guess, in episode 9, but she instantly overcomes it. It's a lot of missed opportunity, I think.
Taking the name of Skywalker was really bad too.
That was so bad. That seems, now I could be wrong. Like, I don't have any proof, but that seems like a Kathleen Kennedy thing. It should be like, at the end, they're like, oh, at the end, it should be like Luke and Leia should be there, and she should be like, I'm Rey Skywalker now. And J.J. Abrams was just like, I guess.
Or I would have preferred, like, since they were mixing, since she she had the Force lightning, just have her be gray. Have a gray Jedi. They haven't done it in any of the movies, and that would have been awesome.
Yeah, like, we've always kind of, like, everyone's been talking for Star Wars about, like, oh, bring balance to the Force, right? But none of that ever happens. Everyone makes it so that the light side of the Force just wins. That's not what balance is.
Right.
Gray Jedi would do that, flirting the edge of both kind of thing. Again, we don't have to rehash that whole episode, but I just think that I think Kathleen Kennedy, and this is my own opinion, I think she just goes in and is like, hey, people aren't latching on to Finn like I thought they would, so let's just make him a goofy sidekick.
Yeah.
Rey, I don't like that she flirts with the dark side. I think she should just be good at everything because she's a woman, and I think that's a good thing. Kelly Tran, who played Rose, I don't know. Fans didn't buy her action figures, so just cut her out of the third movie. Like,
that was actually pretty bad. Like,
dude, it's so bad.
They gave her, I feel like, a bad role. They used her to weaken Finn's storyline. It actually would have been okay if he had died, like sacrificing himself. And then, like, she got hated on by the internet, by everyone, to only take all that heat to be cut out, basically, of the third one.
I know.
Like, they made her suffer and go through all that, and then not even give her a bigger role.
Yeah, like, that would have been a choice, that, like, a positive choice, that whether it's Kathleen Kennedy or J.J. Abrams, like, anybody in the Lucasfilm hierarchy could have been like, hey, these fans are being dickholes to Kelly. Fuck them.
Yeah.
She's now, like, a big, huge part of episode 9, Like, it would have been awesome. I thought she was a good character. But again, like, I think, like, the story with her and Finn was like a waste of time. It didn't lead to anything.
I agree with you that they didn't know where they were going, but it seems crazy to me. They're like, all right, we're going to spend millions and billions of dollars on these 3 movies, but we're not going to have a game plan of where it's going.
Right.
Like Marvel didn't do that shit. Like,
Right.
They were like, all right, maybe we have a loose idea of where we're going, but we at least have an idea.
Right. An outline, you know, but I don't know. Very, very strange. But this isn't a show about Star Wars. This is a show about the end of the world. But before that, we got to do some nerdy confessions where we confess the things that make us nerds. Christian, is your nerdy confession that you love Kathleen Kennedy?
Yes, exactly. Again, I'm not one way or the other. I don't know. I would like to know the information of why people have these opinions. That's my process or my thought process.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some like emails out there.
Something. I'm assuming. I feel like these opinions wouldn't come out of nowhere. Anyway, nerdy confession. We were talking about it off air, so it's gonna be a little bit boring to Cody. But 11/22/63.
Hanging out with you is always boring.
I know. 11/22/63. Stephen King just started the audiobook. It's I love Stephen King, but I'm really like loving this book. It's like any moment that I have free, my ears are free. I'm like trying to listen to it because I want to hurry up and find out what happens. It's really good. I highly recommend it. It's not very similar to his other books. There's not very. I guess I was gonna say there's not a lot of horror, but there is a little bit callback to It, which anyone who's read it, there's some cool little stuff in there because I don't want to ruin it, but it's really good.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely has some Dark Tower flavor, and It was related to Dark Tower universe and stuff. So it does have some of that in there. And then the show on Hulu was very good too. I know. You know, we kind of talked about it a little bit on our last episode about time travel. You know, it's all about this one guy is basically going back in time to save JFK, who gets assassinated on 11/22/63. So, which is, you know, one positive note of that book is I'll never forget that date now, because I was like, now I have some reference. So thanks, Stephen King. Passed my U.S. history exam. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Very interesting. You know, with Stephen King, he does a lot of, you know, spooky horror / mystical type stuff, you know, things with magic and, you know, supernatural things. And this one, yes, it's time travel based, but it's a supernatural time travel. It's not like he gets in a DeLorean and hops back. So.
I want to know more, but it's a pretty big audiobook. So I'm assuming the book was pretty big. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it, but I kind of want to know. All right, I want to know the fucking secrets, but
right,
gotta go through the journey.
Yeah, you gotta stick with it because there's some crazy stuff that happens, and you know there's some really cool characters in there too, and you can tell he did a lot of research on Lee Harvey Oswald too, because you know, it goes over like where he was, who he was dealing with, and stuff, and obviously Stephen King wasn't there, but you know he did a lot of. I read a thing. He did a lot of research on it. So pretty interesting stuff. My nerdy confession is, so we were talking briefly about me painting minis earlier. In the mini world, there's something called a pile of shame, which is basically unpainted minis that you've bought, but you haven't painted. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm not going to have one of those.
You're just going to paint them.
I'm going to paint them and I'm going to get done with it before I start painting another one.
So how big is your pile of shame?
It's gotten big, man. But here's my excuse. So, several months ago, had to be several months. I don't know exactly when. I bought this gigantic Warhammer box set, which has like, I don't know, 50, 60 models in it or something. So obviously, like that takes a while to get through. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, after a while of painting Space Marines and Necrons with, you know, just these two factions over and over and over again, I'm like, I want something a little new.
I can imagine it's a little repetitive.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, you know, it'd be one thing if I was just going in and like I would experiment with different color schemes, different techniques, whatever.
But they have to match
because they're an army, right? You know, so I want them to match. I mean, I still do little things here and there on certain characters, but for the most part, I want that they're very similar in paint scheme.
There's only so much stubble you can put on their little
right, yeah. Or like I molded hair for them and stuff on some of them, so they have like long flowing emo hair. But the problem is that like last month, I think it was end of May, Games Workshop did what they call Warhammer Week or whatever it's called, where they released a bunch of new models or announced a bunch of new models, and they're starting to come out. And so, like, every week I'm finding a new one where I'm like, ooh, that's fucking sick. I need that one. So I just buy that one, just buy another one. And so, like...
But you're not painting these as soon as you get them.
Yeah, because I'll have, like, for instance, I had that those Pathfinder models that I had to do for our Pathfinder game, which, you know, as of recording this, the game is tomorrow. So, you know, I had to get those done before we start playing, right? And then it's like... And then, you know, so I have this... I have a couple of ones that I'm excited for, but you know, it's just who has the time, you know? I'm just I got this one that is another vampire lady, because they came out with this new army called the Soulblight Gravelords, or they like brought it back. I guess it was an older army. They're all vampires and like undead. And I already did one, which I think I showed on the podcast maybe 2 weeks ago. It's like a lady with bat hair, and there's a sexy Ray thing here.
Nice.
Let me find this. Yeah, so I did one of this other vampire lord lady, this one right here, and but now I bought another one, which is like this chicken, like an elegant, like, I don't know, what's it called, dress, like a evening gown kind of thing, and she's got like, you can make it so she's got a bat wing hand. Here's what she looks like right there. See, she's got like a bat wing hand and like a long, elegant dress and some weird horns and some fur.
So now you have a bunch of ones. Now you don't have to spend money on models for a while because you have a bunch of them you can paint.
Yeah, until the next one comes out. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a good problem to have, because now that I've done those Pathfinder ones from Hero Forge, I can kind of take a look and see like, ooh, which one do I want to start next, you know? So it's a good problem to have, but...
Maybe you could just switch off. You could do a Pathfinder one, then you could do a Warhammer one, go back and forth so you don't get bored.
Back and forth. Yeah, well, now it's just I got plenty of Warhammer ones. I also got this one, so there's this site, which maybe I won't, you know, advertise what site it is.
Because it's a pirated site?
It's a pirated site. So I did...
Nice.
I did get this this Warhammer model from this site that is it's a like a recast one. I
don't think you're really hurting Warhammer's bottom dollar by doing this. Like, they make a lot of money.
And the only reason I did it, first of all, was
I'm cheap.
Well, not only that, but like the one that they have on Forge World, which is the site that it comes from, it's like $160 or $140 or something. It looks like this here. It's Corvus Corax of the Raven Guard. He's like the main Primarch guy, and it's fucking awesome. It's an awesome model, but Games Workshop, they get plenty of my money. Okay, I feel like they'll be okay without this one. And like the thing about Forge World, which is the company or the sub company that makes this, is they do everything in resin. And resin doesn't normally do as good a quality as plastic. It's not as finely molded. It's not as sharp. So I'm like, I don't want to spend $130 and then get this thing and be fucking like disappointed with the quality. So I paid someone in the Ukraine to make it for me, and for less than half the price. And they got it, and the quality's pretty good. A couple of his little claws are broken off, so I'm going to 3D print some new ones. But besides that, pretty sweet model. I'll post all those up on the... Here's how it looks on page.
Cody will make sure and put the website, too, of the pirated.
Yeah, direct message me. I'll tell you where it is if you're interested. I just don't like promoting recast because for the most part, it's like, you know, it's...
Stealing.
It's stealing. You know, it's... but, man, you know, Games Workshop, they do so much where it's like, you know, like, give us a fucking break. You know what I mean? Like
throw a freebie every now and then.
Well, not even freebie, but like make these things reasonable. Like they just released a set where it's like, I think it's 5 dudes, you know, 5 normal Space Marines with different weapons, and it's like $65. I'm like, come on, bro.
Making that money.
Oh, dude, they are printing it out over there. All right, well, let's take a quick little break with a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back, and we're going to be talking about apocalypses. We'll be right back. we're back. All right. It's the end of the world, and we know it. Basically,
Is it and we know it? Or I thought it was as we know it.
It's probably as we know it, yeah. I don't know. I wasn't a huge REM fan, sorry. But because we've been watching Loki, and if you guys have been keeping up with it, we won't really spoil it. We will do an episode about that once it's kind of over. But one of the key things that's happening right now in the show, because it deals with time travel, they're traveling to different apocalypses, right? With the world is ending, and they're basically traveling through time so they can kind of jump in and jump out. So we thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about some of movies and media's best depictions of the apocalypse, and see which ones we like best. Which ones?
I don't know if I picked the best ones, but I did pick apocalypse movies.
Yeah. So yeah, why don't you start us off then with one of your terrible picks?
I'll go terrible then. I'll go terrible. Night of the Comet.
God,
it's an awesome 80s zombie horror movie.
Sounds terrible.
You should watch it. You'll hate it.
I won't watch it. Yeah. What's the gist? I assume a comet comes down and
doesn't even come down, bro. Doesn't even land on Earth. The comet flies over Earth, and some people turn to dust, and some people turn to zombies, and some people don't.
Wow.
Doesn't even crash. It's awesome 80s action.
Yeah, someone was on a lot of cocaine when they wrote that thing. Yeah.
Nah, it's weird. It's definitely weird, but I saw it as a kid. And I loved it, and I still love it. You should check it out, Cody. We could talk about how much you love it.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. All right, one of my picks is the Mad Max series.
I have Fury Road specifically, but yes.
Fury Road was excellent, but I love every single one of those movies. The first one, if you guys ever watch it, The Road Warrior, I think that was what...
Road Warrior, yep.
Because there's this weird thing where
I think it was released
in Australia it was called one thing, and in America it was called one thing, and then when the second one came out they flip-flopped or something like that.
Yes.
So I think in Australia it was called The Road Warrior, it was called Mad Max. It doesn't matter,
but I think it's flipped.
You guys know what it is. It's something has caused the end of society in the world, and now
gasoline is everything.
Gasoline is currency, gasoline and bullets, and everyone has hot-rodded, beat up looking cars and stuff, and there's one man trying to make his way in the world, and that's Mad Max.
And there's always for some reason people always pick a psychotic person to lead them and rule. It's always some psychopath.
Yeah. Well, see, what's crazy is if you go back and watch the first one, it's a very independent movie. It's not as crazy as 2 and 3 and now Fury Road got. But it's like society has just started to fall apart, and he has a nice house and stuff, and then these rebel biker gangs come and mess up his family, and that puts him on this road to revenge kind of thing. But then once it gets into 2, then it's like, okay, now he's driving the souped up V8 car, which, first of all, if it's the end of the world and gasoline is money in life, why are you driving a fucking V8?
Because you got to go fast, bro.
No,
you don't want to get caught by these fucking guys.
Dude, those things, man, what you want is a 4-banger with a turbocharger in it. So it uses less gas, but it also can go fast.
Yeah, but it doesn't look fucking cool.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't have those in the 80s. It doesn't look as cool. The last of the V8 interceptors. And then, obviously, there was Beyond Thunderdome with Tina Turner, who was great.
Master Blaster.
And Fury Road... People don't give that movie enough credit. I mean, people give it some credit because I think it won a bunch of Academy Awards and stuff. But to take a movie franchise from the 80s and to come back that strong, and with just man, it was so good.
Because usually, when it wasn't a remake, but usually if they remake a movie or try to continue it, it's never really as good. Or it doesn't have
they do too much CG, and it looks
have
fake.
The heart of the original movies, and this one had everything.
George Miller just killed it, and I think a big part of it is he did a lot of the stuff practically.
I had no idea until after the movie. The guy with the guitar with the flame coming out of it.
Hell yeah.
That was not CG.
No.
That was practical effects.
That was a dude on a bungee cord with a fucking flamethrower.
And I think he was actually playing the music, I think is what
I think he was playing it. Because the amplifiers on the car were actually functional. I mean, I'm sure they probably had a master track that they redubbed over it, but dude, fucking awesome.
I mean, there was CG, but
there was
like the
kind
tornado stuff, whatever.
They show it kind of like they'd have these cars driving down like this patch of Salt Lake or whatever, and the sides of it with extra dust, extra fire, and like other tornadoes and shit happening. That was CG.
Yeah.
But the cars and the people like doing the freaking pole vaulting between them and stuff was all practical. It was all just stuntmen and stunt drivers.
Tom Hardy really ate that lizard in the beginning. He was just
like that was fake as fuck.
Nah, he ate that shit, bro.
Dude, it looks so. That was,
If there was one thing to take away,
if there's one thing that I'm like, dude, that was such a small CG thing. You couldn't make it look better or get like a fake practical lizard.
Plus, he picked it up with the back of his heel. It was like, pop. He fucking ate it.
Exactly. But I think that the Mad Max, like the world, is so cool because, we kind of think about that kind of stuff now. Like, I mean, fossil fuels are ruining the ozone layer. We're running out of them eventually, right? And then there's global warming. So, that's a big part of that world is that like the oceans have dried up and stuff. And so water is very hard.
Do you think he could do it if he redid it, but with electric cars? Everyone's driving Teslas and Kias.
The movie wouldn't be anywhere near as cool because it'd just be a lot of like... just a bunch of silent Teslas go through the wasteland. Like, God damn it, everyone has it on autopilot.
Yeah, but then they use gas generators to still electrify them.
And they have Elon Musk flamethrowers out of the top of them.
Although it would be cool if you made Elon Musk the crazy fucking psychopath who was leading.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's like Battery Town.
Yeah.
Who they have all the nickel oxide batteries or whatever they need.
Lithium ion.
Whatever
the fuck they use.
Just walk away. You will not have our batteries. That'd be great. You got another one, Christian?
Let me see if I'll try to pick a good one. Mm-hmm. I mean, a classic one, Independence Day.
Yeah, okay. Alien
style apocalypse.
Yeah. And I mean, recently, well, I guess not super recently, but a few years ago, we actually got to see the aftermath of that whole thing. Right?
That was a bad one. I don't even remember. I know I watched it.
It was real bad.
It was real bad.
So like, yes, the world was kind of ending because, we have the alien ships over all the monuments, just destroying them with giant space lasers. But luckily, the humans kind of fought back, and you can see in the second movie, as bad as it was, you can see that we've kind of adopted some of their technology and moved on, which is kind of cool.
I didn't find out till years later that the crazy scientist with the long hair was Data.
Data, yeah.
I had no fucking idea. I was like, dude, this guy has range.
Yeah, dude, he's great.
He's great. We don't give him enough credit. I was like, I had no idea that was Data.
Yeah, that was. I remember that when that came out. I'm like, oh fuck, it's Data. He's got long hair and he's a very fat human. But yeah, I really like that movie. I mean, and it was so good, and it kind of, it was one of those summer blockbuster ones that has no right being like a good movie, but you take Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum's raw charisma.
Will Smith was not the Will Smith we know at the moment. This is like the movie that made him.
Right. It was one of his early on, like, oh, this guy's got star power. Jeff Goldblum, hot off the trails of Jurassic Park.
Yep. Being the amazing, awesome human being he is.
Yeah, and the two of them together had such like chemistry and charisma and playing off of each other. It was great. And then you have Bill Pullman, right?
Yes.
Pullman? Paxton?
No, it wasn't Paxton.
Bill Pullman then.
Bill Paxton is...
Paxton's the Game Over
Game
Man.
Over Man.
Yeah. I just get their names mixed up. I know which one I'm thinking
Cody's
of.
Cody's just racist towards white people. He thinks they all look the same.
Yeah, race traitor. Bill Pullman give that Independence Day speech. I mean, I don't know.
Like, you want to salute, but like, I'm proud to be American.
Like, fuck yeah. I bleed red, white, and blue. It's just one of those things that, like, because it, like, the whole deal was, like, the counteroffensive to the aliens took place on 4th of July. And, like, we're going to have our Independence Day from aliens.
Yeah.
And the whole world is going to now celebrate the 4th of July.
As they should.
Because we fucked the aliens. As they should. And it was just so good. It was just, like, between the comedy of, like, Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Goldblum's dad in the movie.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
He was fantastic too. Where he's like this like curmudgeonly old Jewish guy who's just like, everything he just like shits on Jeff Goldblum the whole time. It was great. That movie had no right being as good as it was, and then the second one shows that this was just like the perfect combo, never to be repeated.
You're not going to get lightning in a bottle twice,
right? Because the second one was directed by the same guy.
Was it?
Yeah, Roland Emmerich, and he's obviously lost touch, so not as good. But I really like that one. Next one for me. This one's a controversial one, Christian. A lot of people hated it. Okay. I loved it.
Okay.
Waterworld.
I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think the biggest part.
I think because I saw it as a kid, and I had less higher, like my expectations weren't as great, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the big problem with Waterworld is it had a huge budget and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and so everyone's like, dude, what the fuck are they doing? And they would actually like build sets out like in the middle of the ocean, and with actual floating things, and obviously that takes hella money.
Yeah, the most expensive thing was actually changing what's his name's DNA so you can get gills.
Ooh,
for real.
Kevin Costner. Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very cool concept. You got Kevin Costner, who like is one of my favorite actors of all time.
He's one of those guys where I feel like he can only play one character, but I still like him.
Yeah, he's like
there's not the difference between
gruff guy who doesn't want to be part of whatever you're doing.
Like, there's not much difference between him and Robin Hood, other than he's in the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Waterworld.
God damn, that Robin Hood movie was so good.
Where he's in water.
Prince of Thieves.
And the Postman, where he's just, a dude in, like...
Well, we'll do a twofer, because Postman was the other one.
Oh, nice.
Another one I was going to do. So, Kevin Costner's no stranger to the apocalypse. Waterworld cost $175 million in the budget.
Which is a lot for that time.
And they were shooting for 166 days.
Jesus.
God damn.
And then can you imagine if you actually get seasick and you have to be out there this whole time?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there was some people who were just like, dude, fuck this.
One of the things that I remember the most?
But it made $264 million. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like it did a bad... I mean... with box office, you generally you got to factor in like, advertisement and things like that. So obviously not a huge success. They made like $90 million, which is still a shit ton of money. But it's no Avatar where you make $1 billion.
That's one movie where I don't understand it's as famous as it is. But anyway, what I was going to say, one of the parts I remember the most in Waterworld.
It's also like 3 hours long. God damn, what a masterpiece.
Do you remember like when he uses himself as bait to go fishing?
Yes.
And he gets
so good.
And he gets that big ass fish.
Yeah.
And when they're cooking the meat, I'm like, that looks delicious.
I know. He just puts it right on the coals, and you're like, ooh, it's like yakitori style. Yeah, I'm fucking down.
I want to eat that.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. And then since we kind of brought it up already, The Postman is another post-apocalyptic one starring Kevin Costner, where basically in 2013.
For whatever, I don't remember
why
the world.
An unnamed nomad.
Did they explain why the U.S. went to shit?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean I don't recall exactly why.
But he just picks up a postman outfit, starts wearing it, and people are getting excited. Like, oh, shit, the government's coming back. Oh, you work for the government. And people are nice to him. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep up this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are like, how do I become one? It's like,
yeah, so he starts, like, deputizing
he starts blessing people or something. Like, like you are now a postman. He's like, so it's like being a vampire.
And basically, it's like, there's all these little... There's no... let's see here. It says post-apocalyptic, de-established in the near future. Unspecified apocalyptic events. Basically, he's like hiding out in an old like crashed car one day to stay away from the rain, and it's an old mail van. And so he picks up the guy's uniform, and he has a bag of letters, undelivered letters. Yeah. And so he goes to the next town, and they say, "Hey, I have these letters. We're trying to, find who they belong to and stuff, and we're trying to restart the American government." Everyone's like super excited. So now he starts delivering, letters from settlement to settlement, and eventually it brings these communities together, kind of thing.
Do you think actual postmen after the movie came out were walking with a little bit more
Oh,
pride?
fuck yeah.
A little bit more gusto.
Yeah, if I was a mailman, I'd be like, yeah, you're welcome for keeping you connected to the rest of the world. You know, it would have been really funny if they made a sequel and like UPS turned out to be the bad guy.
FedEx.
Yeah, FedEx was a fascist regime. Another cool thing on this one was he goes into one town and he sees Tom Petty there.
Yeah, and
right?
he was actually Tom
and he's
Petty.
actually Tom Petty. He's like, aren't you? He's like, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, Tom Petty is Tom Petty. I was fucking down for that. It's just such a random thing to have in a movie like that. But I really like that one. But looking at it, didn't do very well. Budget was $80 million. Box office was $20 million.
Oof.
Ooh, rough. But I thought it was a good movie.
I enjoyed it.
It's another one of those ones like Independence Day where you felt very patriotic afterwards. You're like, God damn, the post office, man. Those guys are just out there delivering the mail, making shit happen.
Was it rain, snow, something? I don't know.
Yeah, rain, snow, sleet, and snow.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're out there. My mailman's so grumpy. I say hi to him every time I see him.
He tells you to go fuck yourself.
No, he just looks at me and looks away. And I was like, fuck.
Maybe he doesn't speak English.
No, he does. I've seen him chatting with other neighbors. He just fucking hates me for some reason. I don't know what it is. He's got a sick mullet. I don't know.
He has an actual mullet?
Yeah, he does.
That's pretty funny.
He's this old Filipino guy. Mustache.
Filipino.
Mullet.
Would not have guessed. I would have.
Yeah,
Mexican,
man.
I would have guessed.
No, he's a Filipino guy. I know a lot about him because I'm trying to be friends with him. What's another one for you?
And I feel like in some kind of sick way, because he's mean to you, like you're even nicer.
I know. It totally is.
28 days later.
Ooh, good one. Zombie apocalypse.
I have a couple of zombie ones, but this is like one of the ones that I feel is an amazing. I feel like it's a very slept-on horror movie. Amongst horror fans, people like it, but I feel like it doesn't get enough love from.
To me, it was the first. Like I enjoy a zombie movie. Maybe not Army of the Dead, but it was still fun. It was fine. But for the most part, with zombie movies, they're not out there to be super scary. It's just like oh shit, look at what people have to do in this crazy world, right? 28 days later, I was like, oh fuck. These zombies are scary as fuck. Because they're all like Olympic sprinters.
Yeah, and they did a good job of making that chimpanzee look crazy. The shot in red looked amazing. But for me, one of the creepy, scariest parts is when Cillian Murphy is when he wakes up in the hospital and he's walking around and there's no one in sight.
They did it way before Walking Dead. Walking Dead totally copied that intro scene.
Part.
It was very, very powerful.
And it was like, to me, it was like, dude, how fucking scary would that be to wake up from like a coma and no one is fucking around and you're looking for people. And then when you do finally find people, they're fucking infected with rage. It's like, dude, like that was such a great fucking movie. Yeah,
it was very good. And I think it was a lower budget movie for how impactful it was. It was just, like I said, again, it was one of those movies where it finally made zombies like terrifying. Danny Boyle directed it, that's right. And it was just so good. The follow-up to it, 28 weeks later or whatever.
$8 million budget.
Yeah, $8 million, and it made $85 million. Yeah.
That's a fucking return you want.
Shitting on all other.
This is the movie where I saw Cillian Murphy. I'm like, oh, this is some tall guy, and then I see him in Quiet Place 2. Like, oh, he's fucking little.
Yeah, no, the zombies were all midgets. But yeah, it was what a good one. 28 weeks later.
I saw it, but I don't remember it. So obviously,
yeah, not as good, but still not a bad one. Budget $50 million, box office $64 million, so still did very well. I forgot. Rose Byrne and Jeremy Renner were both in it.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I have to rewatch it. God, it's gonna be so scary. So we did Zombie Apocalypse, we did Mad Max Apocalypse, we did Waterworld Apocalypse. I had one more. I'm trying to think of what it was.
I can give you another one.
What's another one?
Armageddon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
fucking space.
Hard to talk about an apocalypse without freaking Armageddon.
That's Michael Bay, right?
Yes.
That's one of the few that I admit
Hey,
did a good job.
You know,
broken clock is right twice a day.
I was about to say the same thing, and it was like, it was genuinely a good movie, and this was one of those movies where Deep Impact was also came out like either the same year or the year before.
I have that on my list too. Which would also be a good porno name.
Oh yeah, Deep Impact, and Armageddon.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, it was just something about it. Like the cast was amazing. You got Bruce Willis. You got Ben Affleck. You got what's her face? Steven Tyler's daughter.
I can't remember her name either.
Liv Tyler. And then all the other oil drilling guys.
Duncan. What's his? I loved him too. He was one of my favorite characters.
The guy who played the Kingpin in the Daredevil. Yes. Michael C. Duncan.
Yeah, I think so. Forgive us.
Michael B. Duncan. Sorry. Rest in peace, that guy. And then you got Steve Buscemi. It was just everything about it was so great. And then of course
Steve Buscemi's character was pretty amazing.
Yeah, no nukes. No nukes.
Was it space crazy or something?
Yeah, he has something about that. Yeah. He's got the crazy eyes. Yeah, it was amazing.
And that Russian guy who's always plays the Russian guy.
Who's always the Russian guy, yeah. Let's see here. Steve Buscemi.
Will Patton, who was also in Postman, he was the villain.
Yeah. Keith David was in it too. I don't even remember him in it. Steve Buscemi, amazing. Yeah, Will Patton's.
Billy Bob Thornton, I forgot he was in it.
Yeah, he's the mission control guy.
He was a scientist, yeah. He wanted to be an astronaut, but because of his legs, he couldn't do it.
Oh, that's what it was. I didn't remember that. Man, you really love this thing. And so
I saw it like more than twice.
And what's so crazy about it was that, like, okay, there's this asteroid coming to America, or sorry, coming to the world.
The only country that matters.
I forget about the rest of them sometimes.
I mean, sorry. Shout out to our Irish listeners.
Yeah. And I saw we had some German listeners too.
Nice.
You know. Yeah. So there's asteroids coming to the world, and it's going to blow us. End life on Earth as we know it. And they find out that it's just made out of like this metal or some shit like that you can't just nuke it like they wanted to because it won't penetrate deep enough, right? So they decide, hey, we got to drill down to the middle and put the nukes in there. And then like, hey, we can't just send astronauts up there. We got to send these oil driller guys.
They're the best of what they do.
Because it's easier to teach oil driller guys how to be astronauts than it is to teach astronauts how to drill oil.
Yep.
And then they get up there and they're very bad at it too.
Well,
the thing keeps breaking and stuff.
Anything that could have gone wrong just fucking went wrong.
You got Steve Buscemi going space crazy. You got.
He also, big part, didn't want it to work anyway. He had bought, which was smart. I was like, that was a genius idea. He's like, oh, the world's gonna end. I'm just gonna borrow a shit ton of money from these bookies. I'm not gonna have to pay them back. I'm just gonna fucking blow it on strippers.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I love when they're talking about like compensation for this mission. They're like, I don't want to pay taxes
ever.
Like, damn, I would fucking hell let's say that. Not that like, hey, I want $1 million or whatever. It's I don't want to pay taxes anymore.
But like, honestly, who wouldn't be okay with that? The guys that saved the world, like, they're not paying taxes. Yeah, that's fair. That's
Michael Clark Duncan.
There we go.
Yeah, so I was right. I said Michael C. Duncan. And I love this guy, William Fichtner,
the military guy.
Yeah, so he always plays like an asshole in every movie he's ever in, and he just looks like it. But it's like once you see him, like, you're like, oh, that guy's going to be a piece of shit in this movie. And he's a very good actor, so it's not his fault.
He was
Owen Wilson. I forgot. Also
That's because he gets killed early on.
Yeah, exactly. And then Peter Stormare is the guy who plays a Russian in every single movie ever. That was a good one. Yeah, good pull for the old Armageddon. And Deep Impact was fine too, just not as good.
I don't remember it. I know I saw it.
Exactly. This one too had the soundtrack. Don't wanna close my eyes.
Oh, he wrote it for this movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because his daughter was in the movie.
Nice.
This was like one of her big first things, and then she got Lord of the Rings after that. So pretty impressive. Got another one?
Another genre? Yeah, sure. I'll give you another one. I got some stuff on here.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go cartoon. There's two.
Cartoon.
Wall-E.
Yep, that's a pretty good one.
It was they had to leave planet Earth.
Yeah, I got a good cartoon one. Adventure Time.
Adventure Time.
Have you ever watched Adventure Time?
No. Maybe if you show me a picture.
Adventure Time is Cartoon Network cartoon.
Oh, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
You should watch it. It's fantastic. It's basically like it's definitely geared towards a younger audience, but it's funny enough and ridiculous enough where like I can sit and enjoy it. And each episode's only like 12 minutes long, 15 minutes long. But it's about, Finn and Jake, Finn the human, Jake the dog, who are these two guys here.
And how did the world end?
And so you only really kind of find out about that in later seasons, because they basically live on this world where there's candy princesses and there's an ice king who's always up to shenanigans, and they just go on adventures, and that's kind of like their whole deal. But as the seasons go on, you start to realize that, this world that they live in is our world after it's ended, and there's these candy people were like basically like mutants or whatever from the radioactive apocalypse and stuff. It's really, really fun.
Okay. Okay.
It's like it definitely seems like a stoner like kind of show, but it's really, really fun, and I think that it's one of these slept on shows that you got to be a weirdo to want to watch this. You know what I mean? Back when I was smoking a lot more weed, it was definitely one of my guilty pleasures. I'd just watch it and be like, puh.
All right, I'll make sure and check it out.
Yeah, but Wall-E was a good one too. I really enjoyed Wall-E. It might be my favorite Pixar movie.
It was really sad in the beginning, just watching this
like
little
every fucking Pixar movie.
Yeah, always can find a reason to make you want to cry. But just watching him clean up Earth, like for like just going through his little program, like his programming, just cleaning, and it's like, dude, that looks boring, like as fuck.
Yeah,
like I felt sorry for the little guy.
Yeah, little Wall-E. He's so sad.
See if there's any.
Our friend Rick texted us.
Producer Rick.
Oblivion, yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Intern.
Yeah, Rick the intern. Quiet intern.
Just shut up. Get back to your work.
Oh, hell no.
But yeah, Oblivion was really cool. Did you ever see that one?
Oblivion?
It's the Tom Cruise sci-fi one where he's like in the little spaceship kind of thing.
Nope.
Oh, man, you got to watch that one. I won't ruin it because there's like a big twist at the end. But very, very good.
What's going on with Top Gun? When does that come out?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out this time last year. I think it's coming out in July. And I'm fucking down. It looks so good. What's
another classic we didn't touch on was Terminator.
Ooh. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of an interesting.
Trying to prevent the apocalypse.
or Judgment Day as they call it in that one. And where like basically the machines take over because Skynet becomes self-aware, and then it's all about like trying to prevent that from happening by saving John Connor. And in the same light, The Matrix.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, another machine takeover. Now, in these last couple minutes of the podcast, we've talked about quite a few different potential apocalypses. Things we didn't even mention. We didn't talk about Umbrella Academy. Very good one.
Oh, that's right.
Various other, not really an apocalypse, but a potential idea for one, like 30 Days of Night, the vampire takeover kind of thing. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they're never going to take over the whole world because it's too sunny.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I'll throw another one out since you said that one, The Strain.
Ooh, yeah, Strain. How about Contagion? Did you ever watch that one?
No.
That was a pretty good one too. It's a little hard to watch, seeing as we all kind of lived through it.
That's fair.
But it was kind of like a good outbreak movie, like Outbreak. If you ever saw Outbreak, also very good.
I'll throw one out there, The Mist, which I feel has one of the best horror movie endings.
Ooh, so
that people
good.
Yeah, like I know people were upset. I was like, no, that was a great fucking ending.
Stephen King actually famously said that the ending they did in the show
or the movie
in the movie, they did a show too.
They did. I haven't watched it, but I've only seen the movie.
But in the movie with Thomas Jane, I think, right?
I think
the
so.
Punisher guy.
Yes. Ooh, yeah, one of the first, or I guess second Punisher, because Dolph Lundgren.
After Dolph. Yeah. I thought he was a great Punisher too.
Yeah.
Anyway, the ending that they came up with the movie, Stephen King said he likes better than his ending that he wrote for the book.
Since apparently, I mean, people shit on his endings. I don't have a problem with his endings, but even he joked about it. What was it, in It, or in one of the movies, one of the recent movies, like where, I think it was It, where he was in the pawn shop. He was the pawn shop owner, and I guess there was a Stephen King book, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's not right, but always writes shit endings."
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely struggled on some. Like, he doesn't quite hit the mark, but most of the time, I think he's good. He's an excellent writer. So we talked about a bunch of different apocalypses. What do you think? First of all, what's your favorite? You know, like if you had to live through one.
Live through one.
If you had,
I don't want to live through.
If you had to, well, I mean, you know,
fuck,
you're not getting a choice. You have to live through one of these. And then I'll say, based off like movies and stuff, what's your favorite like genre of them?
You know, growing up, horror, zombie movies were my favorite genres. So, if I feel like if I had a good team, I'm just not sure which zombie apocalypse I want. No, you know what? I will pick one. The Night of the Living Dead, because
like the original,
not the George A. Romero, but the Tom Savini one, which came out in the 90s.
Sure.
Because they were still slow, and I feel like if I had some guns, some ammos, and a good party, I can survive that shit.
Right. I feel like in most zombie movies, outside like 28 Days Later or whatever,
or like the remake of Dawn of the Dead, I don't want to fuck with those zombies. Those fucking running at you.
Yeah, and running zombies, you know, aside, like the original OG slow crawling zombies, like they make everything seem ridiculous. Like we wouldn't be able to take care of business. Like we could fucking own zombies.
Oh, I mean, those would be fine.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd probably have a good time. Like, yeah, just give me a gun, I'll take care of that shit.
If it was up to me and I had to live through one, like as much as I love the Mad Max movies, I wouldn't. You know,
no,
everyone's
gonna fucking smell.
Everyone's gonna smell. I don't like the heat. You know what I mean? I do love cars, but you know, you're not gonna get the cream of the crop cars.
You can't buy one of those.
You're gonna
cars.
be turning a VW Bug into like a murder wagon. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You can't buy one. I don't think you can go up to one of those maniacs and be like, "Hey, can I buy that car for you? Give you a reasonable
kick the tires." You know?
Yeah, like no, you're gonna have to murder someone for that fucking car.
Yeah, and I think and same thing with Waterworld. I feel like everyone's hair is going to be so gross.
I get seasick really bad. I can't fucking do that shit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love fish, so, I mean, that's not a bad thing. But then he also has to drink his own pee. So I'm not sure about that either.
Yeah.
Although
he didn't mind it so much.
Yeah. I mean, you drink your own pee. He filtered it. It's not
you know what? Another one I might pick? Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth, yeah.
I can live through that. Yeah, I would be nice to those.
As long as you don't grow antlers and get fucking murdered.
Yeah, I'll be nice to those kids. They never did anything to me.
Yeah, exactly. If I had to pick one though, I think I would probably go for The Postman. Nondescript apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Everyone's just living in like freaking little Wild West farming communities. And like the mailman's like freaking worshipped like a king.
Yeah, but there was still the fucking army of guys that you had to fight at the end.
Yeah, but fuck those guys. There's always going to be a crazy army of guys.
They're always going to be like, "Hey, give me your fucking food. What did you grow? Give me that shit."
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're going to starve.
Yeah, you're going to have to become one of those outlaw hero guys, who travels from town to town. But, it seems like the least like harsh of all of them.
Actually, changed my mind again. I would pick Wall-E. Those humans didn't have to do anything.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They just hovered around and got fat.
And got fed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might be the one dude that would still work out, but I'm like, I'll still take after the workout. I'll still take the chair.
You just slay all those fat pussies. You just like, look at that guy. I think he's got abs. No, he just doesn't have tits. Yeah, just clean.
I didn't think about that.
Just
Wall-E.
clean it up on the spaceship.
Did they smash? I mean, they had to procreate.
Yeah, I mean, they probably just like rolled on top of each other.
That's the part of Wall-E they should have something. The machines that jerk the people off and
freaking turkey basted the ladies.
Yeah, they didn't show that part. What's going on? Fucking Pixar.
I don't think they even showed fat little babies, did they?
They had to procreate.
They had to. There was a bunch of them.
There was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Answer those questions, Pixar.
Yeah, Pixar. do Wall-E 2 and let's find out how that shit worked. All right. Well, let us know down in the comments which apocalypse you'd want to live through. Is it the Mad Max? Is it the giant meteor? Giant meteor, no one's really living through that one.
If you don't got the good fucking drilling team, you're fucking done.
Yeah. Would you want to be a space driller or astronaut?
They all got fucking murdered.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sad. Spoiler for that movie that came out in 1995. Or 1998.
I would want to be the astronaut. Like, I'll be the guy who just starts it up again. I'll just be here.
Someone's got to fly back to Earth and tell our story. I'll do that one.
Yeah, I'll be that guy.
I'll be that guy. But let us know which one you guys want to live through, and which genre, when it comes to movies or TV shows, is your favorite. We'd love to hear about it. Let us know down in the comments. Send us a tweet or a message on Instagram or Twitter at Nerds with Friends. NerdsWithFriendsPodcast.com has all that info. And if you want to become a patron of the show, check out patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. Become one of our lovely patrons whose names you now see scrolling up above us now. Thank you very much for helping out, support the show. We appreciate you guys for supporting us, believing in us, and making this all possible.
And don't spoil Loki. You gotta wait.
Don't spoil Loki. Just don't spoil movies in general on Twitter. Give it a couple weeks or something before you say anything. Christian, as always, thank you very much. If it was the end of the world, I'd let you hang out with me and we'd kill zombies together.
I'm down.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun time. To all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends. This is Nerds with Friends. Thank you and good night.